Next up from our studio here in Stockholm, we're happy to feature Ultimovacs, and presenting is CEO Carlos de Souza. Welcome, Carlos.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you everybody for your interest in Ultimovacs. Ultimovacs is a biotech company located in Oslo, Norway, but we also have a small research group based here in Sweden in Uppsala. We operate in the field of immuno-oncology, enabling the immune system to fight cancer. As we are a publicly listed company, I need to show you this slide. So what do? We work with next generation universal cancer vaccines. Basically, our vaccines boost the anti-tumor response. We enable the immune system to identify and kill cancer cells, and we do this by targeting a specific enzyme present in cancer cells called telomerase. And this is important because this enzyme is present in 85 to 90% of all cancer cells. We are a truly off-the-shelf vaccine, also easy to use as intradermal injections. We have been doing a lot of clinical trials that I will cover, particularly now in our phase 2 trials in combination with checkpoint inhibitors. And the objective is really to show that we can have the potential to be a baseline treatment in combination with checkpoint inhibitors. We have been showing good long-term safety and also initial indications of efficacy. We have quite a broad phase 2 program. When concluded, we will have enrolled more than 500 patients. Our 4 phase 2 trials are all combination trials, all randomized, and they are in melanoma, mesothelioma, ovarian cancer, head and neck cancer, and these studies will start reading towards the end of 2022 and 2023. From a financial perspective, we did our IPO in 2019, where we raised 370 million Norwegian krone. And a year ago, we did a private placement where we raised an additional 160 million krone. At the end of Q2, this gives us a very good cash position. We have 382 million NOK in our cash balance. That gives us a runway towards the first half of 2023, where we will start getting the top-line results from this very extensive phase 2 program. Our latest market cap is around 5 billion NOK. We have a very good group of shareholders, very long-term, and they have been with the company for many years. These are particularly probably the strongest family offices in Norway, very well known, but also some institutions. Last year, the Norwegian Pension Fund joined the company. We also have Fidelity, the London office. They just don't show up here because they have their accounts in multiple accounts, so they don't show up, but they have around 5%. So very strong shareholder base, but we have as a goal to really expand the geographic presence of our shareholders. And we are very happy that in the last couple of months we have increased significantly the number of shareholders in Sweden. As you know, checkpoint inhibitors not that long ago, 2014, started changing the landscape of treating cancer, after the chemotherapies. Unfortunately for cancer patients, still a challenge in several indications where the efficacy is not as expected. Their main role of the checkpoint inhibitor is basically to block the defenses of the cancer cells. What is important is that the patient has an active immune system that can penetrate the tumor and kill cancer cells. And that's what we provide with UV1. We activate, educate, and expand the patient's immune cells. So really these two classes of drugs, the checkpoint inhibitors and UV1, work in synergy. This is particularly important because the checkpoint inhibitors are now the fastest growth class in all of pharma. They are expected to reach approximately $40 billion by the end of this year and close to $70 billion in just 5 years. So very big market potential. And the important part here, as we want to highlight in the slide, is that in our phase 2, we are already in combination with 4 out of the top 5 checkpoint inhibitors currently on the market. So really, if we continue to show the data as we have been so far, this will give us a very healthy share of this very big market. So We have some very important key benefits that differentiate us from some other approaches. One of them, as I already mentioned, is the ease of clinical use. We use intradermal injections, so we don't need to do biopsies, we don't need to inject the tumor, so no complex hospital infrastructure is required. The product, in addition, is truly off-the-shelf, ready to be administered when needed. And also, very importantly, we don't need to do any pre-screening. It can be used in the general population. Also very important from a commercial perspective is easily manufactured. These are synthetic peptides. The product has already a long shelf life, more than 3 years, and is a dry powder that is kept in a normal fridge, reconstituted with water. And when you compare with other approaches in this space, really a low unit cost. From a potential, the fact that we educate the immune system to target cells expressing telomerase gives us an enormous opportunity to be used across a multitude of cancers, as telomerase is present in 85 to 90% of the cancer cells. And because telomerase is extremely important for these cancer cells to maintain their infinite multiplication, they will be expressing it from early stage to late stages in primary tumor metastasis. Very important then that this target stays with the tumor. Also, what we do is basically we educate the CD4 T cells that in the immune system and responses are what we call the maestros, the conductors of the immune response. And this is really important when we want to show the synergy with checkpoint inhibitors. This is just a vision of our current development plan. We already have 3 other studies, phase 1s, that are now in long-term follow-up, 5 and 6 years, with good results, both in terms of safety and initial indications of efficacy. But of course, I'm going to focus during this presentation in these studies. The first one is a study that was recently presented at ASCO, that, as you know, is the biggest cancer conference in the world, normally in Chicago. And then I will also touch bases on the phase 2 studies that we have running. In addition to UV1, our lead product, we also have another platform, the TET platform, that has initiated earlier a phase 1 study, first in man, in prostate cancer. So this first study that you saw in the previous table is in malignant melanoma, and is a combination with pembrolizumab, Keytruda. Is a study with 30 patients, all run in the US. The first finding that we got is this good safety profile. Basically, the patients got the side effects that they will be expected to get with the pembrolizumab. And the only added side effects that we bring is, of course, injection site reactions, because we give the vaccine. And in a way, this shows that the immune system is reacting. So very good safety profile. And this is very important because more and more these days, you have more treatment combinations with a combination of side effects that sometimes is quite disturbing for these patients. But when we look at efficacy, what you see here is the impact on tumor size, or what we call the response. And what you see on the left side is that we got an overall response rate, objective response rate of 57%. This means that 57% of the patients got a reduction, important reduction in tumor size, or a complete disappearance of the tumors. And this compares with historical data from pembrolizumab between 32 and 37%. So this is already quite important difference, but more really unexpected, in the very positive side, is the complete responses. As I mentioned, these are all the patients that basically the tumor disappear in images. And pembrolizumab, and this is the data that the MSD has in their website, got a complete response rate of 5 to 12%, while when we add UV1 to pembrolizumab, we increased, very importantly, that complete response rate to 30%. This is very important data on the response of the patient to the treatment. The other very important measure is overall survival, meaning how many patients are still alive after a period of time. Last year, we communicated the overall survival at 12 months. You see there that we have 85% versus 72 to 75% with pembrolizumab alone. We just a couple of days ago communicated the 24 months overall survival. And as you see, we basically moved from 85 to 80% overall survival. And pembrolizumab alone went down to 58%. And this is really a reflection of the impact of these vaccines in the treatment of patients with cancer, is this extension of duration of response that is very important and that we start to show here. In addition, pembrolizumab alone got a median progression-free survival between 5.5 months and 11.6 months, and we got 18.9 months with the first cohort and not yet reached with the second cohort. This data is very supportive, and we have been initiated 4 phase 2 studies. The first one is INITIUM in malignant melanoma in combination with ipilimumab and nivolumab, one of the standards of care. It is a study that is being run in the US, UK, Belgium and Norway. 154 patients in total, and in August we announced that we have already enrolled 68 patients. The results are expected towards the end of 2022. We also got a lot of interest from the pharma companies and from a specialized group of oncologists, so we have also initiated 3 phase 2 studies. The first one in malignant mesothelioma. This is run by Oslo University Hospital, and Bristol Myers supplies with ipilimumab, nivolumab. We supply UV1, and it's 118 patients, and we have already enrolled 38 patients in August. Also expect the data on the study towards the end of 2022. The DOVACC ovarian cancer study is in combination with olaparib, that is a standard of care in these patients, and durvalumab. 184 patients. We expect to start enrollment very soon, and top-line results in 2023. And finally, the FOCUS study in head and neck carcinoma. This is a study in combination with pembrolizumab, all run in Germany with 75 patients. We have already initiated the enrollment in this summer, and we expect also to get top-line results in 2023. Just a brief word on the second platform. This is very innovative, where the adjuvant component and the peptide component are all in the same molecule. And we have initiated the first study coming out of this platform using prostate cancer peptides, and we have initiated enrolling these patients beginning of the year, and just recently announced that the patients moved to the second cohort with a higher dose. Very important to give us safety and immune activation data using the first product coming out from this technology. As you see here, in terms of news, we have been quite busy as a company, initiating new studies, presenting data. Of course, the most important data recently presented was the data on the melanoma study in combination with pembro, presented at ASCO, and now, a couple of days ago, the 2-year follow-up. We expect soon to inform about the first patient in the DOVACC trial. And of course, not that far away, towards the end of 2022 and 2023, the results of this extensive phase 2 program. So, in summary, as a company, we have a cancer vaccine platform with our lead program UV1 and a very innovative and separate technology, the TET technology, that enhances the impact and durability of immuno-oncology therapy. It's broadly applicable in different cancer types and in combination with different classes of drugs. It has a good safety profile, really allowing for using these combinations in seriously diseased patients. We have a broad development program in multiple combinations and in multiple indications, highlighting the significant commercial potential. The fact that we have these collaborations, with Bristol Myers Squibb and AstraZeneca is a validation of our approach, and also the high interest that we get from specialized groups, very rewarding for us to be involved in these projects. The start of the first clinical trial using the very innovative TET platform technology is really of great interest to us, because it opens up the room for us to have different vaccines coming out of this platform. We have quite an experienced team, a strong shareholder base, and a good cash position. And as you could see in our news flow, very near-term milestones can be really transformational. So with this summary, I want to thank you all for your attention and look forward to remain in dialogue.
Thank you so much, Carlos, for that presentation.
Thanks, Michael.
I just have a couple of questions for
Sure.
you. You have a very interesting technology platform, and of late it has been featured in the media quite a lot, which obviously is great. But what would you say, in your opinion, attracts that kind of attention?
I think the main, most of the attention started when we presented the data from the melanoma study in combination with pembrolizumab at the ASCO conference. So that really, because this is very strong data in terms of the response, and particularly the complete responses. So this really raised a lot of attention from the media, in Norway, in Sweden, but also in other countries. And this is very rewarding that, also the general population and investors have an opportunity to get more familiarized with our approach and the impact that we're having in cancer patients.
Mm-hmm. Another platform you mentioned that has recently been tested in the first patient is your TET platform in the TENDU trial. How important is this milestone for the company?
It's a very important milestone. So the TET platform is a platform with a huge potential. As I said, we can derive different vaccines using this technology. So it was important that, particularly now with the recent patient enrolled in the second cohort, with a dose that will be more close to expected therapeutic dose, it's important that, we moved from the first cohort to the second cohort. There was no safety concerns. Of course, this is the main objective for the study, to assess the safety in humans of this new platform. So this is a very important milestone that we can continue to enroll patients, and will be very important to provide us this data in terms of safety and immune activation as we continue to develop this platform and with the potential to derive multiple products from it.
Mm-hmm. So more specifically, what would you say is unique, let's say, about this TET platform?
I think one of the uniqueness of the platform, as you know, this is all vaccines. All vaccines, depending on the technology, and if it's infectious diseases or cancer vaccines, need two components. The adjuvant component that stimulates the immune system to come and pick up on the peptides or the neoantigens. And in this technology, in the same molecule, you have the adjuvant function and the peptides function that you can change. And this has, we expect benefits in terms of safety, convenience, as less injections, subcutaneous, and also we expect a stronger immune response. So this really gives the potential for this adjuvant technology to be used in our own pipeline, but also potential collaborations with other companies that need a very good adjuvant technology for their vaccines.
Mm-hmm. Finally, what is your plan for keeping up the positive momentum for Ultimovacs?
Well, we plan to continue delivering. We are recognized as a company that, we keep the milestones that we promised the market. And of course, the big focus of the company is going to be in the next 12 to 18 months to get the results from all the phase 2 studies, to continue to move ahead with the TET technology. But also, we have as a goal to make the company more known. Ton Berken, that is our new Chief Business Officer, has joined the company, and his role is to increase the visibility of Ultimovacs and our science towards the pharma and the biotech industry. We have also been more active in really expanding the visibility of Ultimovacs outside of the Nordic countries. So we will continue to do all these activities. So the basic of what we do, the clinical results, the research, but also to make the company more visible as we prepare to get the data not that far away.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, great. Thanks so much for answering the questions.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for the opportunity.
And thanks for your presentation, and we do wish you all the best.
Thank you.